Hello, and welcome back to Heart in the Sky. As you can see, I have a visitor today. This is my cat, Keanu. I call him my demon baby because he can be nice, as you can see now. So today's video is my April wrap-up. I'm going to be doing it in the order that I read the books. He's really wanting some love right now, surprisingly. At the end, I'll say if I got my bingo or not, which, if you're curious, the May bingo is up. It is up on my last video. There's a link to it there. I can also pop a link to it down below in this video. And if you're interested, you can check it out there. So let's just jump into this video by starting off with the first book I read this month, The Lost Continent. This book follows Blue, a silkwing, and silkwings are like butterflies. They're born without wings. His sister is a little bit older than him, so she reaches her metamorphosis day before he does, the day where she'll get her wings. And when they go into the cocoon, so that way she can spin her cocoon and grow her wings, everything goes wrong. There's something wrong with her silk, so she gets taken away. And Blue has to run away as well, because since he is her brother, he will get taken away as well. So he has to run away from home, which is completely against what he wants to do. He just wants to live a quiet, normal life. And now he's on the run from the hive wings, which are like the guards. They're the higher ups. The silkwings are below them. They are their servants. And Blue has to run away from them. He has to get away, because otherwise he's going to end up trapped his entire life, which, while he wants a normal life, he wants to be free. He doesn't want to be trapped and taken away, and he just wants to be home with his family. And when he's running away, he gets help from a hive wing. And together they set off on their journey to stay away from the hive wings and to rescue Blue's sister, Luna. I am going to be doing a more in-depth review of it than what I'm going to do here. It is going to be a short review, no spoilers. Overall, I did think it started off slow, but I feel like it got better as it went along, and actually the ending of it was my favorite, not because it was over, but because of what happened at the end and how everything was kind of coming together a little bit more, and the surprise at the ending, which I don't want to say because it is a spoiler, and I'm not going to say it in my review either. So I do recommend the Wings of Fire series, especially if you're a fan of Aaron Hunter's books like The Warriors, The Survivors, and so on and so forth. So following up The Lost Continent, I read The Seven Deadly Sins Volume 4 by Nakaba Suzuki. I did enjoy this. I will say this series overall is not my favorite manga series, but I do enjoy it, and it kind of keeps me on my toes a little bit, like I don't know what's going to happen next. I might try to read a little bit further in it and then start watching the anime on Netflix and see if I like it or not. Tried to watch it before and I just couldn't, but I'll give it another shot since I'm reading the manga. I do recommend this series, especially to those who like fantasy and magic and all that sort of thing. But if you're not into fantasy, magic, or fan service, then I don't recommend this book for you. It doesn't really get too intense. They keep it PG-13. This next book in my wrap-up, I actually finished in April, but I'm actually rereading it right now for May because I wanted to go back through and put tabs in it like what I did with another book by this author. And that book is The Sun and Her Flowers by Rupi Kaur. This book for me has been back and forth. I would get bored with some poems. Other poems were just kind of like, meh. There were some poems I liked, which is why I'm tabbing those. But overall, it was kind of meh, and the second time through is a lot harder to get through than it was the first time. This next book in my wrap-up was one that I read in March. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it the second time through, and that book is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I enjoyed this book a lot more than The Sun and Her Flowers. A little too mature at times, so it can get a little uncomfortable, and I was honestly, whenever I was reading it, it was like the second poem or something, I was like, oh, okay, I was not expecting that so soon, but overall I did enjoy it. So if you like poetry, I do recommend it, but keep in mind that it can get mature, and if you're not comfortable with that, then I would say to pass on it. Otherwise, if you are okay with that and you like poetry, then go for it. I highly recommend it to you. This next book I'd have to say was my favorite of the month. I already knew what was going to happen in it though, because I watched the entire first season of the anime for it, and it seems like the anime follows the manga very religiously. So I already knew what was going to happen, but I still very much enjoyed it. I got to the point where I knew what day the next episode would come out, and at even what time typically, and I would watch it as soon as it came out. And that manga that I'm talking about is Dr. Stone, Volume 1 by Riichiro Inagaki and Boichi. So this is the story of a scientist named Senku who woke up 3,600 years after the whole entire human race was turned to stone. So of course, nature took back what was theirs, and he's traversing that world, and he's going to try to bring it back to what it was within his lifespan. Now of course, it doesn't go according to plan, and there's somebody trying to stop them from saving everybody and bringing them back. I recommend this to anybody who just wants to have a fun time reading. It's nothing serious. I mean, there are some serious moments because there has to be conflict. So of course there are some serious moments. But overall, it's just a fun, lighthearted read. And the faces Senku makes in it, if you've watched the anime or read this, you know what I'm talking about. The faces Senku makes in it are hilarious. It keeps it lighthearted, and it does get dark at times, but the dark times aren't too long. Something happens to kind of brighten it just a little bit. So I do recommend this for people who are looking for a fun read. This next book in my wrap-up, I read and I'm hoping to turn in someplace so I can get a little money. I'm not going to say everything that's going on. I'll mention it at the end of the video because it is going to be important. I just want to get a little bit of money under my belt so that way I can buy more new books, and I can hopefully get me some new furniture. And I'll explain more about the new furniture and stuff later. Crap. I'm gonna have to let my cat out. Be right back. Sorry for the sudden angle shift. Whenever I went to go get my cat, my foundation bottle that keeps the phone where it's supposed to be moved, and I don't know if this is quite the right place or not, but we're gonna roll with it because it's pretty close if it's not the same. But it's funny that while I'm talking about a cat book, my cat starts causing trouble. So I'll explain more about the furniture situation and all that later and why I need to do that. It'll hopefully all make sense later. But for now, the next book in my wrap-up is Moonrise by Erin Hunter. This book actually kind of took me by surprise. I was still pretty interested in it. Like, I'd finish a chapter and I'm like, okay, one more chapter. And then I'd read it and then I'm like, but I want to know what's next. Like, I was surprised that I was that into it and I wanted to know that stuff so much. If the lighting changed a little bit, I just realized my curtains were closed. So I'm hoping this will actually make things look a little bit better. This cat's driving me crazy right now. This book follows it's called The New Prophecy, where 4 cats, one from each clan, has to go out, find midnight, and then come back to save their clans. It actually turns out to be a group of 6 cats because 2 cats are like, I'm gonna go with you, I need this, I need to protect you, whatever the reasons are. So it actually turns out to be a group of 6 cats instead of a group of 4 cats. So, do I recommend this book? I do, especially if you're into more middle grade stuff, and especially if you're into the Wings of Fire. I think the Wings of Fire books and the Warrior books, the Survivor books, basically any book by Erin Hunter and 2T Sutherland, I feel like they can go both ways. You can recommend one and the other. They just work well together, and they're pretty similar actually with how they're set up. Little to no humans, mainly about the animals. Like, this one's mainly about cats, Wings of Fire is about dragons. Now we're at the final book of this wrap-up. I am kind of surprised that I read 7 books, but at the same time, 3 out of the 7 were manga books. I can finish those in less than a day. I actually was reading one last night and I finished in like an hour or 2, give or take. I didn't time myself. But point is, I can read manga books pretty quickly, so it's not too surprising that I have that many, because there's almost half of it is manga books. And another chunk of it is poetry. Only 2 books are actual, like, regular books with a plot and a story and all that fun stuff. This last book is Black Butler, Volume 8 by Yana Toboso. So I did really enjoy this book as well. It was very, I'm not going to get too far into it, but it was a lot more gory. I mean, the other ones get kind of gory, but this one was upped a little bit. It got a touch more gory than what the other ones happened. So whenever CL, Phantomhive, was younger, his parents died when his mansion burned down. It's not sure what happened to him for a bit, but he comes back, and whenever he comes back after the house burning down, he has a demon butler by his side. Nobody really knows that he's a demon except CL, but it is revealed early on to the reader that Sebastian is a demon. From there, Sebastian's trying to get CL's soul, and in order to get CL's soul, he has to complete the contract that he made with CL. Now, together the two of them will follow the queen's orders, and whatever the queen tells them to do, they do. So, in this one, it was to follow a circus. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to say what happens with the circus, nothing else, but they had to go and check out the circus that came to town. And that's about all I'm going to say with that book, because I don't want to spoil anything for those who haven't gone to this, who want to read it, anything of that sort. So now that I went through all the books, let's take a look at my bingo card. Here is my bingo card. The red X's are the ones I use for the bingo. You will see some other little places that have other writings on them, but I didn't use those because I only wanted one book to count for one space, one for one, not whatever space it could fill. And obviously, I did not get a bingo. If I read the last book of my TBR, which I didn't get to, I ran out of time, I might have been able to. Honestly, I'm not sure if I would have or not anyway. So, you won't be seeing this set up for too much longer. I am going to be moving, not far, it's not very far at all, but I'm going to be moving hopefully very soon. The house is getting fixed up, so whenever that happens, I have a couple of video ideas planned for it, and I will hopefully have an actual bookshelf setting, not a desk setting, which I think will work better. I have an idea of how to set it up, and I'm getting so excited for this. I mean, I am going to be getting a smaller room than what I have now, but what I'm going to be getting with it, I think is going to be awesome. I'm hoping to turn in some books, get a couple of bucks for them, so that way I can use that money towards some furniture. It won't be much, but it'll be a little bit to help out. I'll be having more diverse videos, and I'll hopefully be posting more once I move. I'm almost done with my school year as well. That will be ending this Friday, so then I'll be hopefully able to make more videos and post more and just do more things for you all. But that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like down below and maybe subscribe to my channel if you like videos like this. Leave a comment down below. What books did you read in April? I'm interested to know. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.